Yeah, as you can see, we've got Cole Macedo on the show, the Work Area Podcast. So, really appreciate you coming on, mate. I know it's been a little bit of a hassle to try and figure this thing out, but yeah, really appreciate your time and excited to have you on.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. And yeah, I've watched your guys' podcast a few times. So yeah, thankful to get the call to be on it this week.
Nah, sweet, mate. Yeah, so what is the team? It's just the two C's. That's who you drive for now. That's what it's called, two C's.
Yeah, so the race team itself is called 2C Racing. Car owners are Todd and Kelly Carlisle. But yeah, they just the number was 2C when they started it, and they just said, well, that's the team name as well, I guess. So yeah, Wayne Johnson drove it for a good 14, 15 years, maybe even longer than that, I think. And yeah, and then yeah, once Wayne got hurt last year, they wanted to continue the deal, and they gave me a call around, I'd say, man, it would have been earlier in the year, like April or something like that. I think that's when he got hurt, and wanted me to come over then, and I just wanted to stay loyal to the teams that I was driving for, that I had committed to already, and so I told him, hey, if you'll wait until next year, and I can follow through with my commitments, I'll go ahead and do that. And so yeah, it's been a dream come true. It's been a good year, and we're getting better and better, just building a notebook.
And with that, mate, you 10th overall at the moment in the World of Outlaws and stuff like that. Is the Rookie of the Year, like, is that on your horizon? Is it something you want to win, or is that just something, if it comes your way, you take it? Like, is it a goal of yours, or is it just a byproduct? If you go all right, you win that?
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think that was the goal this year. And we're still capable of doing so. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's not like it's not a championship, right? Like it is a goal. I think it would
Yeah.
be a good thing to check off the list. But yeah, it's man, our biggest goal this year was just to get acclimated. Wayne Johnson, my crew chief, and I, to get acclimated in the whole team. And the Outlaw Tour is tough. Without a notebook, we're going to a lot of tracks that I've never been to, that my crew chief's never been to. And so, yeah, our goal this year, and even into a little bit next year, is to just keep building our program, and getting better and better. And by the end of next year, I think, and year three, I think that we'll be one of these top teams. Like Buddy, Gravel, and Carson right now. But just right now, it's so tough to do, rolling into tracks with no notebook, and no real chemistry between Wayne and I yet.
Yeah, it would be tough. I always think about, like, how hard it'd be to race yourself if you got three or four goes at one track versus you not racing your own, let alone these other teams. So, yeah, hitting these tracks for the first time against the best in the world, mate, it must be tough. But you got that win at Fremont. Yeah, how wild was that?
Yeah, yeah, that was a huge deal. These races are so hard to win. So to be able to check one of those national races off, year one, with the team, and at a track that it makes sense, right? Just like what I was just saying, it was at a track that I have tons of knowledge at, and tons of racing, and man, it's just like I was confident every single time I hit the track, and I knew where I needed to be. I could give really good feedback to my crew chief to get my car right, and yeah, it's just that's what it's all about, right? Confidence is key, and the fact that we were able to win, kind of let us all relax. I'll be honest, I'm a very passionate race car driver, and I want to win really bad. So, I was probably not the most pleasant to be around every night, and I've been working on that and getting better and better at keeping a good attitude all the time. But man, I just want to win so bad. And the fact that we were able to check that off, we all kind of could relax a little bit and just say, okay, now we've won. Now we can just, focus in, lock in for the rest of the year, and learn and get better. We know what we're capable of. We swept the whole night. So obviously we had tons of speed. And obviously we're capable of beating the best. Kyle ran second, and yeah, I
Yeah.
consider him one of the best race car drivers out there. So, yeah, super happy with that. Yeah, it got chaotic after the race. Yeah, just a dumb deal. I was pretty bummed out. I mean, at first I didn't know if I won, but then after I did win, it was like, man, like I wish I could have, you know, celebrated like a normal person and got up on top of the wing and done all the things I had dreamed about it, how it would work out, right? But yeah, it made for an exciting deal and for the fans and everybody, and I think that everybody will remember that for the rest of their lives. I'd say.
To get that first win at the World of Outlaws, mate, is it like pure excitement, or is it more like relief to actually have ticked the box and been like, oh, like no matter what, now I can always say I've won one, or is it like, yes, I have won? What was your the overarching feeling for you?
Yeah, so I mean, it was just you're growing up. I wanted to be a World of Outlaw sprint car driver. You know what I mean? So now that was a high limit race, but I still felt like it was the same feeling. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will be different. But to beat Kyle, like man, Kyle
Yeah,
and there, man, the high limit tour has very strong competitors as well. And to beat him, that was huge for me and our team and man, I was over the moon. Like it's just so much, all that work that I put in over
yeah,
the last 8 9 years racing sprint cars and even longer than that, growing up racing micros and with my dad and all those hard nights. It just it seems like it finally just the weight was lifted off my shoulders. So
yeah,
some people go their whole careers with never winning a national race, and that's because it's so hard. It may not because they're
no,
not good enough. It's just, man, you have to have a perfect night. Everything has to go into place, and until you win a couple of them, I think it gets easier after that. But until then, it's nerve wracking, and typically the guy that's never won, will make a mistake.
yeah,
Where these guys like David and my brother, and Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson, man, they're breathing down your neck the entire race, and 9 times out of 10 they don't really make mistakes, right? So that's what it's
yeah.
all about. Just every race getting better and better and minimizing those mistakes that I kind of watch the videos and just even when I do a good job, we make him from 10th to second on a night, but I still go back and watch the race and try to find nitpick where I've made a mistake and try to work on that.
I sort of don't want to get too buried down with your American stuff. There's flying and all that, but I guess in terms of what we're trying to do, I just want to try and recap just your season from last year here in Australia. Obviously, you come over here and you race for the Pigdon racing team initially at the high limit and through sort of a period of RSP week, transition over east to drive the Dyson Motorsports car. Yeah, just to recap, mate, I guess, how did you feel coming over here for the first time? Is that like not intimidating? How hard is it to fly all the way over to Australia, jump in a car, and did you quick time the very first night?
Yeah, so I've actually come to Australia before, and
Yeah,
ran for Mark House. I think that was 3 years ago now. Um, and then Mark didn't want to bring me over. He had some other stuff going on the year after, and then obviously he passed away this last year, which was very sad and yeah, was very unexpected. I was actually getting ready to fly over there in a couple weeks after that was supposed to happen. So yeah, that was a bummer deal. But I had a flight last year, and luckily he purchased that, and I was able to come over and kind of wear his colors and his suit and
yeah,
go see some of the
yeah,
people
yeah,
that were a part of his race team, and that was super cool that I was able to do that. And then that was the plan. Honestly, it was just like, well, if I find something great. If not, I'll just come over and hang out and see some guys like Rio, his mechanic on the car, and I've grown really close to him, and yeah, there's just so many people in the speedway. It's like a family, right? When you lose one of them, it's just like everybody kind of comes together. So, yeah, that was the plan. And then obviously Trent Pigdon was I think contacted through Sean Dyson. He helped me out getting in contact with him, and he knew he had some gear and stuff like that. And yeah, we put together a couple races and just kind of to see how it would go. And yeah, first night out, I went there with my crew guy Nate Matherly from here, and Zach Middlebrooks off of Rico's team. Rico ended up getting hurt, and we got to bring them guys over and help me out. And yeah, we Zach and I and Nate went over and went through the stuff. And yeah, night one went quick time overall at the high limit show, and so that was super cool. I think Trent was very happy, and you know, it seemed like it anyways. And yeah, we had a lot of success that first night. We led half the feature, and
Yeah.
man, we ran on the podium a few times, and really never really ran out of the top six. I don't believe. I think we ran eighth at Bunbury or something like that, ninth. Um, but yeah, it was a really good trip. Had tons of speed, had tons of success. I felt, you know, ran second to James a few times. And him and Buzzy are just unbelievable. You know, like I said, they got tons of chemistry. James has ran that track for a long time, so I was super happy with the season. I think Trent was too, and the whole rest of the team. At least that's what they said. Um, and then yeah, and then my brother got hurt. You know, broke his leg there in Australia, and Sean Dyson had his car available, and you know, so I didn't have anything over east. So Sean was like, "Hey, if you want to run, you know, we'll put together a couple nights." And yeah, we ended up winning the first three nights in a row. So that yeah, the first two nights at Sydney, and then went to Warner Bowl where Carson and Sean, you know, had told me like, "Man, just letting you know, like, don't get your hopes up. We're not good here." And I was like, "Man, really?" You know, like, you know, I was a little bit nervous going in, but I think we all had confidence from winning the two nights
Yeah.
prior. Um, and yeah, it just worked out. You know, we led every lap of the feature, and I think we went second quick or something like that. Like we were super fast all night long, and yeah, and then had a good classic week as well. We actually had a Heim break um, on my prelim night, running third, which would have locked me in
Yeah.
straight into the classic and all that stuff. And so, um, yeah, we actually had a Rutger Heim break, and that you know, set us back a little bit, but we ended up making it back in through the last night there, and I think charged up to eighth from the back.
Yeah,
So
you did.
yeah, it was super good trip, honestly. Like I thought, man, this was a huge deal. You know, this should set me, you know, up for a good opportunity next year, and that was the plan anyways. It was supposed to come over and run for Trent the entire year, and yeah, up until last week that was the goal and plan. And we had been talking, you know, daily, almost, you know, ever since I left. And then yeah, ended up not working out, I guess.
Yeah, before we sort of get into that, I'll just go back through just that high limit international event at the Perth Motorplex. Like that's where I am. Perth's the center of the sprint car universe for people over here. How was that for you? Like, and how is the Motorplex like? Before you came over there, I'm not sure how much you would have heard about it and stuff, but did the Motorplex stack up to what you think, and how does it stack up compared to all the other places you would have raced across the world?
Man, that's a good question. Like, man, it Perth Motorplex is one of the best racetracks and facilities, um, fans, everything that I've been a part of in all my years of racing. Man, it rakes up there with you know, Knoxville, Eldora, um, like very nice facility, and the track is unbelievable. Like it was every night I thought, man, that was the most badass racetrack I've ran on, and that was so much fun. You know, I could run the bottom, the middle, the top, you know, slide people. It was the entire racetrack was racy, and then the next night it was like, man, it was just as good but different. You know, like
Yeah,
it had grip, but you know, and then it slickened off, and then the grip came back, and um, yeah, it was an unbelievable experience for me. And honestly, if it wasn't for me going to Perth last year, and I didn't have anything, you know, for to come back over this year again, and I, you know, I would have probably just been like, well, if I don't, you know, I wouldn't have been pushing so hard to find something this year, because I
yeah,
was just like, well, it is what it is. You know, it's a lot to come over there, but man,
yeah.
just I had such a good experience with the fans, and Gavin, you know, who runs the track, he was super awesome to me, and talked to me every night, and just, you know, made sure I was happy and everything was going all right. And yeah, all the fans, I think I sold my t-shirts out. I think I sold out in like 3 days. So, yeah, it was a breath of fresh air to go over there, and Perth is awesome, man. Like the ocean's right there, and yeah, it was I got to go to Rottnest Island. Yeah, there was a lot of good experiences last year, and I was super thankful to be able to come over there.
That's the other thing that I'm keen to know. Like, is it again? We think it's the best thing ever, but for you, is it getting to the stage now in terms of the money you can win and the facilities that it's almost like it helps progress your career, and it's like almost like a must do to get where you want to go in terms of your career, or is it just a cool place to come on in your off season where it's warm, you can go to the beach and you can just race every weekend, or is it now getting in like important in terms of like on a worldwide scale to come over here and race against us, the guys over here and everyone else that does come over?
Yeah, I think that, when I first started coming over, it was just fun, right? Like it was just like, well, I'll go
Yeah,
over there, keep sharp in the seat, and have a little vacation and hopefully win some races. Obviously, that's always the goal, no matter what I do.
yeah.
I want to win, right? If I'm gonna go spend time and energy and strap myself into a sprint car, I'm there to win, right? So, but yeah, at first it was just to come over and have a good time, and that still is the case. Like I wanna enjoy it. Like the bad nights aren't as bad as the bad nights over here for sure. At the end of the day, you're on vacation. You're in a place that you never would have thought you'd have been able to come. So, um, yeah, but now, with all the money that's, up for grabs over there, and then, between that, that, and then as well as just the competition level there in Perth for those races. Like there's a lot of guys coming from the U.S. I know, and then man, you're the local guys over there are really good too. Like there's a few of them that I raced like hell last year, and ran as hard as I could to try to beat them. Colin Williamson, the cookie car with King Shot. There's tons of guys. I think Matt Eagle, me and him had some really good battles over there. And then, there's a bunch of guys that I'm forgetting, I know, but yeah, James, obviously. But yeah, I had a ton of fun, man. I was racing as hard as I could last year, and battling for the, podium position almost every night I felt like. But,
Yeah.
we were racing hard, and the track put on, that good racing. And then, obviously I think I was in some good equipment and had a really fast race car as well. So yeah, it was a blast. And now it's like, man, I don't just want to come over for fun. I want to come over and compete. And yeah, I think that it definitely does help a little bit with your stock over here, because no one's really doing anything in the winter time. So they're tuning into Australia, they're watching the replay the next day, and I'm sure that people were watching last year and thinking, wow, like, I jumped in two different cars and was running good and won some races, and it was a good experience.
What would have been your best drive over here? Obviously, you had a heap of good runs here, but you won those three in a row. If thinking back, like which race do you think was your best race over here last year?
Oh, I'd say probably either the Warrnambool race,
Yeah,
where it actually ended up rubbering up, but I was actually still running the top, and just I feel like I pounded the fence almost the entire race, and that place is hard to pound the fence like that. Like the fence is not perfectly round, and then it's round down the backstretch, and then so that was the most I feel like how hard I had to work. But there was another race there at Perth that I ran second to James. I think it was one of the prelim nights or something like that of the high limit deal, that I ran second and ended up rubbering up with like two or three to go. But I think I started sixth or something like that and charged it up to second, and I thought was better than James. I got to his inside though at one point, and then that was when I found the rubber. And then the next restart, James pulled down and he ran the middle, and then it was just follow the leader after that. But I thought that was the best my car was at one point, and then and then obviously racing from six to the almost the lead there, and almost past
Yep.
him, Australia's best right now, James McFadden,
Yep.
I thought was super cool. So yeah, I would say one of those two races would have been the best showings from last year.
Mate, you want to talk about a notebook? J-Mac and Buzzy have a notebook at the Motorplex.
Yeah. I mean, they've got a notebook pretty much everywhere, I'd say. And then,
Yeah.
man, actually hanging out with James this year with the Tarleton Motorsports car.
Yeah.
Drew's one of my best friends, Drew Warner, the crew chief, and so I'm over there helping all the time and hanging out at the shop. And then, their prelim night in Knoxville, I was in their pit and hanging out and just absorbing some of the information that James was putting off. And man, he is very smart. Like, it's one thing to have chemistry with a crew chief, but it's another thing to be just so knowledgeable that you can come in and say, "Hey, I feel this, and this, and this, and this will I think, in my opinion, will fix it." And man, he's very sharp, not only with the car but with the engines as well. Like some of the
Yeah.
stuff he was talking about doing with his engines, obviously builds engines over there, but man, I learned a lot just in the short span of me hanging out with James. I gained a lot of respect for him. Um, and it's almost made it to where it was like, man, I used to be like pissed when, he beat me because he beats me a lot over there, right? And over here. But now it's like, man, like it's tough to be super pissed because how much knowledge he has, and I have so much respect for him now, and just a good guy, right? So, yeah, and then Buzzy as well. I've grown to be friends with Buzzy over there, and he's very smart as well. Builds beautiful race cars. I always try to tell him that I love how he builds his race cars, and I'm a super attention and detail person, so I will always walk over and see the new things that he's done to his cars, and at some point when I build a car, I'm gonna copy some of the things he does because man, he builds some really nice race cars. So yeah, it's man, it makes sense why they have so much success. Like I said, they build good race cars. James has really good feedback, and is a hell of a driver behind the wheel. And then yeah, just like you just said, man, the chemistry that him and James have over from all the years of racing together, it's just that their notebook's so broad, and I think that makes it a lot easier for sure.
So with that, mate, obviously, you've had the year that you had last year. Is like when I was looking up your results, like rarely were you outside the top 10 anywhere you went. There's obviously new tracks, new cars, and all that. So yeah, it's a massively good year. You've you've been notified obviously that you I don't know what to say. You're out of the seat and there's someone else in it. What's regardless of who it is and whatever, like how does it feel? Like that must be just like a kick in the guts, like to get the notification like that. How did you process that?
Yeah, it was definitely not what I was expecting. We had I was starting to work on t-shirt designs. I had suits on order. They had been posting it all over, you know, Trent himself, and then Australian Speedway had been posting about
Yeah,
it, and Perth Motorplex, and yeah, so I was definitely not expecting it. I had heard rumors that he was trying to find a second. I thought at the moment a second team to race with. Um, but I heard he was trying to hire Macri, and then as well as Buddy Kofoid, and so I had heard that, but I was like, well, it is what it is. At the end of the day, he's the car owner, and he gets to make the decisions, right? The guy that pays for it also. Yeah, at the end of the day, I'm not like pissed off to say that he made that decision, because at the end of the day, that's his decision to make. Um, but yeah, I just wasn't expecting. I'm such a loyal person, right? So with all my teams that I've driven for, I've tried to do the right thing each and every time. And when I get a call and I do want to make that jump, I at least have given them till the end of the year like I did last year and said, hey, this is the next step in my career, and that kind of thing. But yeah, so I definitely wasn't expecting it. It was definitely a gut punch. Mostly just because of the fact that we had such a good year, right? And I had showed a lot of speed and went quick time at the biggest race over there, at first night out in the car, first night on the track. So I just thought that I had raised my stock high enough, and elevated that to where it was like, all right, now I can secure, this ride that I'm in, and that's what I thought that was happened. Like I said, it was all posted the week prior, that I was coming over, and everything. So I'd grown really close to him and his family when I was over there, and I still think that at some point we can still hang out and build that relationship. I don't think that the love to say has been completely lost, but yeah, definitely frustrating, man. It's really hard to find rides over there, and when you've been sitting for 6 months thinking that you're locked into a deal, you're not looking, and a lot of the rides have been taken up. So I've got some stuff in the works, and I'm gonna definitely come back over. Like I said, I had so much fun, and even if I gotta, you know, build something up and make it, a little bit better than it is, or whatever it may be. I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna be in yet, but um, that's the goal, is to come over, and yeah, it was definitely a gut punch, but yeah, it's part of sprint car racing. At the end of the day, these guys that own the race cars, they make the decisions, and not always do you get guys that make loyal decisions. They make business decisions, and obviously that was what that was.
So how quick do you move on? Obviously, you get told the news or whatever, kick the shit out of a few things in the house or the hotel room, wherever you are. How quickly do you move on? Like, this is a business for you. This is a job for you. Like, you want this ride. It's another potential to come over and earn some money. How quick does it transition into, right, what can we do? Or did you take a day or two? Or did you just start making the phone call straight away?
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation. Like, when the Mark House deal happened, I didn't want to call anybody. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I don't want to be blowing people up yet, and so I kind of just let other people do it for me. And um, I had heard that the rumor was going around that I was available, and that stuff, and so it all ended up working out. I don't really think I called very many people at all, other than when it was other people were already calling me. So, but this situation, I mean, I received the message, and it wasn't 10 minutes. I was like, you know what, screw it, like it is what it is, and I'm gonna call each and every person that I can think of over there, and find something. And I think I called like 15 or 20 people in a span of 20 minutes. So yeah, it was. I just, part of me, it was just a little bit pissed. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's the business. I got to come over. It's another source of income. So I wanted to get over there really bad, and keep having success, hopefully, and hopefully win some more races.
Is it hard considering like you don't have massive amounts of links here, not like you would in America, like trying to talk to people and be like, is that equipment like decent, and not really knowing yourself, or not having someone rock solid you could call about like, what's this car like, what's this crew like, and then also, is do you not want to take something just in case something else pops up? Like, how hard is it to even organise something over here in terms of quality equipment, locking it in, and then flying all the way over to race it?
Yeah, so that's the tough part. Like we've just went through it with setting up this deal. The time change is so hard, right? Like when I wake up in the morning, you guys are just getting ready to go to bed, and then by the time that you guys are getting up, our days are here are winding down, and so yeah, that makes it really hard. And then knowing, I have an idea of what time it is where over there, because I talk to Sean Dyson almost every day, and then I used to talk to Trent. on the weekly basis. So I have an idea of that, but I know there's different time changes as well, in
Yeah.
Australia as well. So I don't know exactly where everybody's at, and like you said, I don't know who everybody is either. So I've been to Perth, there for that 2 weeks, and then I've kind of jumped around over east. I haven't really been in one spot for a long period of time. So yeah, I know some people, and so that makes it easier. Like I can call guys like Luchmani or Sean Dyson or Buzzy, people like that, and just say, hey, what do you think about this car? Or Kenny Mack, that builds engines over there. I've grown really close to him, and I could call them and say, hey, this guy's contacted me, or hey, I've looked up the result and I've seen this car. It's shown some speed. What do you think about me calling them? Would they potentially run two cars? Those kind of questions, and I just call like it doesn't matter who they are. If I've never met them before, I learned about 5 6 years ago that the worst thing that someone could say is no. So
Yeah.
I used to be afraid to call people and ask, either for sponsorship or for a ride. But man, at the end of the day, if I want to go race and have success, I've got to have some sponsorship every now and then, and I've also got to have a ride. You know what I mean, to do that, so to do my job. So it's been I just call, and hopefully something works out. And then when I get something going, I call back those sources that I have that I feel like I respect their decision on, and their advice. So typically they give me the best advice possible, and yeah, that's how the last few deals have worked out. But yeah, so it definitely makes it hard though. That time change, it's not easy.
So where are you at with it then? Like, is there something in particular need? Have you got like I don't want details about who or what is it, but do you need an engine? Do you need a chassis? Do you need everything? Where are you at with it now?
I've been in talks with a team from over there. It was a few of them. I haven't really heard back from a few of them, but yeah, I've been in talks with one team that I think that it could be a solid deal, and it's not completely solidified yet, but yeah, hopefully that does take place, and then that's in Perth. But yeah, I don't have as of now. I don't have anything over there east for Classic Week, and that would be the end of the trip for me. Is usually a Classic, and then I got to head back to Volusia. But for the World of Outlaws, the start of the World of Outlaw year. But yeah, so hopefully I find something for the Classic. That whole week would be nice. Just if I'm going to run the Classic for someone else that I didn't run it for in Perth, it'd be nice to get some nights under our belt before we head into the Classic kind of thing, and that always helped in the years prior. So yeah, it's hopefully it all works out, and I have some success. Luckily, I feel like I'm mechanically inclined enough that I could kind of go jump into a few different cars, and I think that I'll be okay. In the last couple of years, I've had to do that between Mark House's car, um, and then a little bit with Trent's car last year, and then tons of these cars in the U.S. I've thankfully my dad and several other people, crew chiefs along the way, have taught me how to build a car and how to get the build of the car correct so that you can kind of jump into most cars and have speed right out the gate. So hopefully I can apply that information and that knowledge onto whatever team that I race for over there, and whether they have a crew chief or not. If they have a crew chief, great. I could just bring my helmet and come have some fun. But if they don't, I can apply that knowledge that I hopefully that I have, and have some success again.
Mate, I'm not gonna lie. Soon as this sort of went pear shaped like it did, I was like, I hope this drags Dyson out of retirement, mate, and he comes back with a team for the man.
Yeah, yeah. I think me and Carson were both very bummed out
Yeah,
that he retired, kind of thing, just because his equipment was unbelievable. It was unmatched over there. I felt
yeah,
like it was, his whole operation. He's got the Tarleton Motorsports of the U.S.
Yeah.
over there, but just instead of it being flat black, it's flat gray over there, and just everything is the same. And oh man, his shop, everything is just Sean Dyson doesn't do anything half-assed to say everything is very pristine, and it was a blessing to be able to drive for him. My brother and I both were so thankful. Mine was kind of pushed in on weird circumstance, but with Carson breaking his leg. But I was, at the end of the day, I was super thankful that I got to drive the car. I'm sad that he broke his leg to do so, but yeah, he's been so awesome to me and my family. Over the last 5 or 6 years, we've grown into family, I'd say. So I talk to him on a daily basis, or at least every other day. It seems like, and yeah, he it was awesome. And yeah, like I said, it was a bummer to see him retire, but I think he did it for all the right reasons. Spend a little bit more time with his family, and potentially do some different stuff in racing, and just kind of switch it up. So I think that Sean Dyson, I think that he's getting the itch, though. We're actually potentially going to run the midget stuff over here
Yeah.
again. It sounds like potentially. I'm not really sure
Yeah.
if it'll happen or not, but luckily we still had a car over here, and he's coming over for my brother's wedding and the bachelor party and everything. So he gave us a call the other day and said, "Hey, what do you think about maybe running it again?" So I don't know. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but um, Sean's a very competitive person. He wants to. I think racing is built in him like it is the rest of us. So I don't think he'll ever go to the extent that he used to with racing, doing the sprint car and everything. But I could see him potentially throwing a midget out there every now and then, and seeing, or this could be the last hurrah. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it's a good time. I really enjoy Sean, Felicity, his wife, and their kids. Me and Carson have spent a lot of time with them over the last couple of years, and super thankful to have that relationship.
Mate, so I guess just to recap it, like you're looking to try and land a seat from like Boxing Day through to the Classic, and is that sort of your time frame?
Yeah, yeah. So my brother actually gets married December 5th, I think.
Yep.
It's either December 5th or 6th. I should know that. I'm
Oh,
the
come on,
best
mate. You
man.
should know that.
But yeah, it's either way I'll be there. But it's then obviously a couple days I'll probably need to get my crap back together. We're probably gonna burn it down, I'd say. So between the bachelor party that same week of, and then that,
Ooh.
and then yeah, so it's gonna be a big week, and then I'd say a couple days after, I'd be ready to fly over. December, you know 10th or 11th, I'd say. But that was the plan anyways, to fly over with Trent was in that time frame. But yeah, obviously, the high limit show on until the classic is the goal to come over and race. Those are I feel like the main races over there. The bigger stuff, I'd say. And then yeah, I mean, either way, if I could run the high limit show and the classic, those are the main ones that I really care about. But in order to have success at both of those, I feel like you need, some races in between there to keep sharp and get your car right, and get acclimated with whatever team I'm with. So yeah, that's the goal.
Easy, mate. Is it fun enough for you? Like I know Carson's coming. Is it something that you love your speedway enough that you would just come over anyway and watch Carson run for the JNS drilling team, or is it too much of a commitment? Like I said, you're looking to come pre-Christmas, so you're away from your family, all your friends through that period, and like I know you're committed to do it, but would you even come just to watch the brother, or is it too far?
Um, I'm not much of a race fan, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like I would potentially do it if someone was to hire me to come crew chief their car, or come work on my brother's car. Like that would be awesome. If there's anybody I want to see win, it's my brother. If I'm not racing. So, um, but yeah, I mean, if for some reason I wouldn't find a ride, I would, and someone wanted to hire me and pay for my flights to come over and all that kind of stuff. That's the hardest part, right? Like
Yep.
it's so expensive, to just come over for a vacation when I could be at home, spending time with my race team here and working on that program and at the end of the
Yep.
day that's where my source of income is. So um, I think that it would kind of be a slap in the face to my team to just go over and spend the entire winter in Australia if I'm not racing, right? Like I think that they're fully understanding and want me to continue to go over there to keep sharp between the ears and keep racing so that when I show up to Volusia, I'm ready, right? Um, where I could do the same thing just in preparation in the shop if I'm not racing over there. So I think that if I don't find a ride, I probably just won't come over, and I'd probably um, just spend my time with my team in the U.S. here. I'm preparing that stuff, but yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for me racing over here, absolutely. Like Australia is an awesome place, and I really enjoy coming over. Like I said, I've grown to have some family members there with the Dyson family, and I feel and I would love to come spend time with them, and then go spend time with my brother as well. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think that I've grown my stock high enough where I should have a ride over there with
Yep.
the success that I had last year, and so hopefully that we're not in that I'm not in that predicament of whether I need to just come over and hang out or hopefully I'm racing, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like to answer your question, absolutely, I love Australia, I love Perth, I love even the East Coast. Spending time there with the whole Dyson family in Singleton last year for Christmas. Um, all of Dyson, Sean's sisters and mom, and all of his family. It was a great time, and I enjoyed every second of it.
Nah, awesome, mate. Yeah, I think I'm happy to wrap it up, mate. Yeah, really appreciate your time. I can't see how you're not in a seat. Like that's yeah, I'd be booting some of the local boys out if I owned a team. Like that's for sure. And in the little group chats I'm in, mate, we're all scheming up a little drives and who could get kicked out and whose seat you could take. So yeah, I really hope
Yeah,
you get something, mate. I really appreciate your time. Yeah,
yeah, man. I think I appreciate you. You know, obviously spreading my name out there, and
don't
super
know what's
thankful
happened,
to
mate.
got me.
Yeah, we're all good. We're all good.
Oh, yeah, and then yeah, I'm super thankful to be on the podcast. I appreciate it.